right, back to me, Kate, for those of you who haven't learned my name yet. Okay, I will be reading chapter 9 and maybe 10 if 9 goes well. 10's pretty short, so hopefully it's not a problem. Alright, chapter 9. Finally, after pointing around and yelling "Steph" like 10 times at Nate, the music drops into a quieter song and he nods and starts to laugh. His hands move up into the air and he points into the next room. He's a really sweet guy. Why does he hang out with Hardin? As I turn to where he indicated, all I hear is my own gasp as I spot her. She, along with 2 other girls, are dancing on a table in the living room. A drunk guy climbs up and joins them, his hands gripping her hips. Ooh. I expect her to swat his hands off, but she just smiles and pushes her bottom against him. Her bottom. Okay. They're just dancing, Tessa, Nate says, and gives a quick chuckle at my uneasy expression. But they aren't just dancing. They're groping and grinding against each other. Tessa. Yeah, I know, I shrug, even though it isn't as casual to me. I've never danced that way, not even with Noah. And we have been dating for 2 years. Noah! I reach into my purse and check my messages from him. You there, Tess? Hello, you okay? Tessa, should I call your mom? I'm getting worried. Hover much, Noah? I dial him as fast as my fingers will allow, praying that he hasn't called my mother yet. He doesn't pick up, but I text him assuring him that I am okay and there is no need for him to call my mother. She will lose it if she thinks something happened to me on my first weekend of college. Hey, Tessa! Steph slurs and leans her head on my shoulder. You having fun yet, roomie? She giggles, obviously heavily intoxicated. I think I need... The room's starting to spin, spin, she says, laughing, and her body lurches forward. She's gonna get sick, I tell Nate. He nods and lifts her into his arms, draping her body over his shoulder. Follow me, he instructs and heads upstairs. He opens a door halfway down the hallway, finding a bathroom quickly, of course. Tessa couldn't do that, if you remember the last chapter. Right as he places her on the floor by the toilet, she begins to vomit. I look away, but grab her red hair and gently hold it back away from her face. Finally, after more vomit than I can handle seeing, she stops, and Nate hands me a towel. Let's get her to the room across the hall and lay her on the bed. She's going to need to sleep it off, he says. Nate, I can get with Nate. He seems nice so far. But, alas, the good ones never last. I nod, but what I'm really thinking is that I can't leave her alone, passed out. You can stay in there too, he says, seeming to read my mind. Together we get her up off the floor and help her walk across the hall and into a dark bedroom. We gently lay a groaning Steph onto the bed, and Nate quickly takes off, telling me he'll check in on us later. I sit down onto the bed next to Steph and make sure her head is comfortable. Sober, with a drunk girl beside me and a party raging all around, I feel like I've hit a new low. I turn on a lamp and look around the room, my eyes immediately going to the bookshelves that cover one of the walls. Since this perks my mood up, I go over and scan through the titles. Whoever owns this collection is impressive. There are many classics, a whole range of different types of books, including all of my favorites. Spying Wuthering Heights. I pull it off the shelf. It's in bad shape, the binding giving away to how many times it's been opened. I'm so lost in Emily Bronte's words, thanks Mrs. Calkins, that I don't even notice the change in light when the door opens or the presence of a third person in the space. Who's ready for the British accent? Why the heck are you in my room? And then an angry voice booms from behind me. I know that accent by now. Hardin. I asked you, what the heck are you doing in my room? He repeats, just as harshly as the first time. I turn to see his long legs pulling him toward me. That's kind of a weird thing to say, long legs pulling him. Oh well. And he snatches the book from my hand and tosses it back onto the shelf. My mind is whirling. I thought the party couldn't get any worse. But here I am, caught in Hardin's personal place. He rudely clears his throat and waves his hand in front of my face. Nate told me to bring stuff in here. My voice is soft, barely audible. He takes a step closer and lets out a deep breath. I gesture to his bed, causing his eyes to follow my hand. She drank too much, and Nate said, I heard you the first time. It's bad. I think it's getting worse. He runs his hand through his messy hair, clearly upset. Why does he care so much if we are in his room? Wait. You're a part of this fraternity? I ask him. It's impossible to hide the shock in my voice. So Hardin is far from what I imagined as a frat boy to be like. Yeah, so, he answers, takes yet another step closer. The space between us is less than 2 feet. 2 whole feet. Where was I? I don't know where I was. Oh, there it is. And when I try to inch away from him, my back hits the bookcase. Does that surprise you, Teresa? Stop calling me Teresa! He has me cornered. That's your name, isn't it? He smirks, his mood slightly lightening. I sigh and turn away from him, basically facing into the wall of books. I have no idea where I'm going, but I need to get away from Hardin before I slap him. Or cry. It's been a long day, so I will most likely cry before slapping him. And what a sight that would be. I turn and push past him. She can't stay in here, he says as I pass. When I turn around, he has a small ring in his lip between his teeth. What made him decide to put a hole in his lip and eyebrow? That had to be painful. Though the one piece does accent just how full and round his lips are. Teresa! Wow! Why not? I can't tell who's talking. 1 second. I'm getting a FaceTime call. Alright, I'm back. We gotta hurry this along. My parents are coming home for lunch, and I don't think this is a book that they'd like to hear read by their amazing daughter, so nor would I want them to hear this. Except for it's not bad so far. Alright. Where was I? Oh, full round lips. Why not? I thought you guys were friends. We are, he says, but no one stays in my room. His arms cross over his chest, and for the first time since I met him, I can make out the shape of one of his tattoos. It's a flower printed in the middle of his covered forearm. Hardin with a flower tattoo? The black and gray design resembles a rose from this distance, but there is something surrounding the flower that takes the beauty from it, adding darkness to the delicate form. Feeling brave and annoyed, I let out a laugh. Oh, I see. So only girls who make out with you can come into your room. As the words leave my mouth, his smile grows. That wasn't my room, but if you're trying to say you want to make out with me, sorry, you're not my type. Bold, he says. I'm not sure why, but his words hurt my feelings. Oh, we're adding some spice. This is the beginning of something. Hardin is far from my type, but I would never actually say that to him. You are. I can't find the words to express my annoyance toward him. The music through the wall is like an itching sensation. Ooh, what kind of itching is sensational? That's just from someone who gets a lot of bug bites, okay? I'm embarrassed, annoyed, and exhausted from the party. What a little social butterfly we have here. Arguing with him isn't worth it. Well, then you take her to another room, and I'll find a way back to the dorms. I say and head for the door. As I go through it and slam it shut behind me, even through the noise of the party, I hear Hardin's mocking. Good night, Teresa. Alright, that was it for chapter 9. Good news is chapter 10 is like a page. So I'll zoom through this one, okay? Try to keep my commentary to a minute. I can't help the tears that fall down my cheeks as I reach the top of the stairs. I hate college so far, and my classes haven't even started. Why couldn't I just get a roommate who was more like me? That's pretty funny to me. I should be asleep by now. Preparing for Monday. I don't belong at parties like this, and I certainly don't belong hanging out with these types of people. I do like Steph, but I just don't have it in me to deal with a scene like this and people like Hardin. She seems to be talking and thinking about Hardin an awful lot for not liking him. He's such a mystery to me. Oh, here we go again. Why must he always be such a jerk? But then the next thing I think of is that a wall of books of his. Why does he have all of those? There's no way a rude, disrespectful, tattooed jerk like Hardin could possibly enjoy those amazing works. The only thing I can picture him reading is the back of a beer bottle. Good one, Tessa. Dabbing at my wet cheeks, I realize I have no idea where this house is located or how to get back to the dorms. The more I think about my decisions tonight, the more frustrated and stressed I become. I really should have thought this through. This is exactly why I plan everything, so things like this don't happen. The house is still packed and the music is too loud. Nate is nowhere to be found, neither is Zed. Maybe I should just find a random bedroom upstairs and sleep on the floor? There are at least 15 rooms up there, and maybe I will get lucky and find an empty one. Despite my efforts to conceal my emotions, I can't, and I don't want to go down and have everyone see me like this. I turn back, find the bathroom I was in with Steph, and sit on the floor with my head between my knees. I call Noah again, and this time he answers on the second ring. Tess, it's late. Are you okay? He says, his voice groggy. Yes. No, I went to a stupid party with my roommate, and now I am stuck at a frat house with nowhere to sleep and no way back to my room, I sobbed through the line. I know my problem isn't life or death, but I'm beyond frustrated at myself for getting into this overwhelming situation. A party? With the redhead girl? He sounds surprised. Yeah, with Steph, but she's passed out upstairs. That's Tess right now. Can you believe that? Whoa, why are you even hanging out with her? She's so, well, just not someone you would ever hang out with. He says, the scorn in his voice irritates me. I wanted him to tell me it will be okay, that tomorrow is a new day, something positive and encouraging, something not so judgmental and harsh. Turbulence in their relationship. Wow, so soon? That isn't the point, Noah, I said with a sigh, but right then the door handle jingles and I sit up. Just a minute, I call to the person outside and wipe my eyes with some toilet paper. Ew. But that only smears the eyeliner even more. This is exactly why I don't wear this stuff. I will call you back. Someone needs the bathroom, I say to Noah and hang up before he can protest. Whoever's on the other side of the door begins pounding on it, and I groan as I hurry to open it, wiping my eyes again. I said just a minute. But I stop as glaring green eyes pour into mine. Wow. Who could it be? This is exciting, everyone. Sorry, that was long. Sorry about that. No one wants to hear me talk for that long, so. But this is very exciting all of a sudden. So whoever has chapter 11, chapter 11 short, so they should probably do 2 maybe. They're in for a treat. Good luck, my friends. More to come on this wild ride.